of the Birmingham Police Department's Public Information Division, along with our Public Information Officer, Sergeant Laquita Wade. We want to thank each and every one of our media partners for joining us at this press conference today. We want to thank each and every one of our viewers for watching this press conference today via social media. Today, you will hear from Birmingham Police Chief Scott Thurman about an arrest our department has made in a cold case homicide. And we are also joined today by our local, state, and federal partners. At this time, Birmingham Police Chief Scott Thurman.
So good morning. It is with great pleasure that I'm able to announce the arrest and the murder of Ariel Yarbrough. Ariel Yarbrough was murdered on Easter, April 4th, 2021 in Patton Park. And this morning at 5:15 Eastern Time, Jalen Rayford, black male, 22 years of age, was arrested in Snellville, Georgia. He is arrested on a murder warrant with no bond. He was arrested by the United States Marshals, Southeast Fugitive Task Force, the Georgia State Police, and the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office. This investigation was a collective effort by a number of law enforcement agencies working together. Those agencies are the Birmingham Police Department, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office, the United States Marshal Service Gulf Coast Regional Fugitive Task Force, the Southeast Regional Fugitive Task Force, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the Georgia State Police, and the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office. Hopefully this arrest will provide some closure for the Yarbrough family and our city. Another important point of interest is the collective effort of all these law enforcement agencies have committed to working together to fight crime in the city of Birmingham and in our area. We are committed to each other and the citizens we serve in ridding our city of violent criminals such as Jalen Rayford. I am confident these relationships and collaborative efforts will continue to close more cases such as this one. Thank you.
Can you tell us what led you to Mr. Rayford, and if recent efforts such as the press conference in April and the increased reward led to the arrest, and if any money will be paid out?
It was really just a collective effort of all these different agencies working together. Each one of them provides brings unique things to the table. And when we all work together, we can close cases such as this. And so really it was just a collective effort of everyone working together.
Are there more suspects being sought?
Not that I'm aware of at this time.
So you think he is the sole suspect?
We believe he's the suspect that's responsible for Ariel's death, yes.
Well, are you looking for other suspects that wounded the other 5 victims?
Yes.
And was Mr. Rayford a member of H2K?
I don't have that information to confirm that.
What's next now that he's been arrested?
So our investigators will be traveling to the state of Georgia to conduct an interview with him, follow up on some of the evidence that was retrieved during his arrest. Also, whether or not he's going to fight extradition back to Alabama will be a decision he'll have to make.
Do we know how long he had been in Georgia at this point?
I don't have that information.
Chief, you spoke with Ariel's loved ones at that presser in April, I should say. What does it mean to you to see this case at least finally have some sort of closure, perhaps, as their loved ones have been grieving for some time?
This is the whole reason you're a law enforcement officer, to be able to tell a family that you've arrested the person responsible for their loved one's death, to get some closure for their family, to also provide a sense of closure to our citizens. And this case generated a lot of anguish and things for many of our citizens, and to be able to get that for our citizens in our city is really big.
And can you restate what case this is in regard to?
So Ariel Yarbrough was murdered on Easter, April 4th, 2021 in Patton Park. It was a beautiful day, large gathering in the park that day for Easter, many people celebrating. Unfortunately, a shooting occurred in that park, and Ariel was killed, and some others were injured.
And then can you tell us where you found Jalen Yarbrough? Where was he in Snellville? What was he doing? Can you tell us any of that information?
He was arrested basically at Snellville, Georgia. About all the information I want to release at this time in regards to that.
How old is Mr. Rayford?
He's 22 years of age.
And do you have any words just to talk about, how long it's been? It's been almost 2 years since the murder happened, and we're just not getting an arrest. Any words just to say how this kind of impacts things, and knowing that he was out there for that long?
Well, I think what the important thing to focus on is that our investigators never give up. Regardless of how old a case may be, they're always working to solve those cases. And I know that's the frustration of many families, is that they feel like their case is not being worked, or it's an older case and so it's not getting attention. But this just shows this is a 2-year-old case, a little over 2 years actually. And we've worked together with all these partners have committed to continue to work on this case, along with many other cases, to bring it to this point.
It is a case that that's on everybody's mind is the firefighter case. Is there any update in regards to that shooting that happened a few months ago?
All I can say this time, that's an ongoing investigation that we're working diligently on, and this group is also helping and assisting with that investigation as well.
And I know that the new exhibition driving law went into effect on September 1st, and there was that operation that had some arrests this past weekend. Can you talk a little bit about the correlation there?
To this homicide?
No, to the law in this past weekend.
Right. So the new laws were enacted September 1st, as you stated. We're just out trying to enforce those laws, trying to bring some closure, some calmness to our streets, provide safety for our citizens. And so those who are out there engaging in that type of activity, we're going to continue to be out. We're going to continue to run those operations. We're going to continue to tow cars. We're going to continue to arrest people. So if you'd like to engage in that activity, be willing to go to jail and be willing to give up your vehicle.
Could you repeat the suspect information for our newsroom?
Sure. Jayland Rayford. He's a black male. He's 22 years of age.
Do we have a timeline on when he may be back in the city at this point?
That's up to the state of Georgia. There's a lot of other moving pieces that are really out of our control at that point in time. I think the most important thing to focus on is he is now in custody as a defendant in this case.
Did you say when the warrant against him was obtained?
Within about the last 2 weeks, somewhere in there, roughly.
Is he from Birmingham?
Yes.
Chief, I know today's celebrating a great victory, but one of our newsroom team wanted to reach out and ask if there's any comments from the personnel board being partially responsible for hiring or retention issues. Is that true? Is there an issue whatsoever?
Hey, we appreciate, everyone's questions, but today is about one thing, and that's the arrest in the Ariel Yarbrough case. If we can just have our questions geared towards that, it would be greatly appreciated. We're lucky enough to have our federal partners, our local partners, our homicide division is here. So we just want to highlight Ariel's case and the closure that we're trying to bring to her family.
Did someone speak with Ariel's father?
Yes, her family's been notified, was notified this morning.
And can you just say what his or their reaction was?
You want to speak on that, Detective Ross?
Yes, he was delighted, basically. Very happy.
Did he know that this was in the works, or was it a complete surprise to him that?
It was a surprise.
And as a longtime investigator who focuses a lot on cold cases, what's it like for you to be able to tell a father that an arrest has been made?
I'm just as happy as he is. It sit on my desk for a long time, and I'm happy as he is.
Detective, you were there in April at that press conference. You were able to speak with Ariel's best friend at the time. I mean, to come this far in such a short amount of time, to give them this opportunity to gain closure, what does it mean to you? And does it shock you we're here after such a long battle?
Just let everybody know that we don't give up at all. I'm going to keep working as long as I can.
Can you give your name, Detective? This one.
Jonathan Ross, ROSS.
I'm going to turn it over to see if any of the other partners would like to say a few words. I'm not sure if any of them would, but we'll open the podium up for them.
Chief Keeley?
Yes.
Were there any complications during the arrest this morning? Anything that happened this morning other than picking him up?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into the details of the arrest, but to answer your question, we didn't have any complications. We were able to gain entry into the apartment and the arrest was made. And again, I want to echo what the chief said. This is a collaborative effort here between the agencies that you see up here, and the citizens of Birmingham and the metropolitan area should have great confidence in knowing that all these partners are working together to solve violent crime in the community, and that's the community at large.
Is anyone from the Yarbrough family here with us today?
No.
Chief Keeley, could you touch on the fact of how difficult this is to do? There's so many different agencies working together. Many people at home don't understand the collaborative effort that it takes. Can you kind of highlight some of the difficulties it presents when a suspect flees to another state and just how much communication is required for it?
Well, I think difficulty is the wrong word because, again, these federal partners, we have teams in all states throughout the United States, and the Gulf Coast Regional Fugitive Task Force operates in Alabama and Mississippi. The Southeastern Regional Fugitive Task Force covers Georgia. So it's as simple as passing information and a collateral lead to that particular agency, whether it's the Marshal Service or one of the other federal agencies that are present here today, to send it to the person that has the best expertise at that time to deal with the situation.
This is a question for any of you all. I know this is, of course, a win to have this cold case closed. What message does it send, I guess, for other cold cases that might be, still pending, and what message do you want to send to the community?
Well, as I said earlier, I think it sends hope. I would hope to those other families. We would love to solve every case. Unfortunately, sometimes we just don't have the right information at the right time or the right pieces of evidence. But don't lose hope. I think this is just a good sign of a case that's over 2 years old, that we are continuing to work on all cases. Don't lose hope. We're working on all of them, I can assure you. And if we can solve a case, we'll solve them. It's in the best interest of law enforcement. That person may continue to, who's a suspect, may continue to reoffend. They could injure other people in our city or somewhere else. They could injure a law enforcement officer. So it's in our best interest to get those people off the streets of Birmingham or wherever they may be.
And you may have answered this already, but was the suspect found in the home? Was he already in custody with police there in Georgia? How did they track him?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to go into the details of how we located him, but the suspect was in the apartment complex, and that's where he was arrested. And there was evidence recovered at that time, and I won't go into what the evidence consisted of.
In which apartment complex?
I have the street address. I think you have it in your press release, don't you, Chief? Chief's got that in his press release. It's going to be given to you.
Thank you.
Is anyone else want to speak?
Sure. Good. Thank you, everyone.
Thank y'all.
Let's do it.